Welcome to the F1 Minute. Today, I thought we'd have a little fun and go through some F1 lingo. Sorry to you veterans out there, this might be a little bit of back to school 101 stuff, but we've got a lot of new fans out there that are trying to understand and learn, and I thought it'd be fun to go through some of the lingo. So here's some simple things that we hear a lot when we watch a race or watch posts on the internet on our social media. The first and easiest one to go through is the box. I use that at the end of my posts. In the race, it's used to tell the drivers to come into the pits. And it's a word that's not easily mistaken for other words because of its hard sounds, box. It comes from the German Boxenstoppen. I'm sure I just butchered that, but anyway, it comes from a German word for pits, going into the pits. And that comes from a long time ago, and it's been used for a very long time. So that's box. Come into the pits. Keep your tires warm. I use that one too. Tires and keeping them warm is a thing because the Formula One tires that they get from Pirelli, who's the tire provider, need to be warm in order to establish grip on the track. If they're cold, they slip and slide. If they're warm, they get a little bit gummy and actually grip the track. So they want to keep those tires warm. You'll notice if you watch a race or see some video footage of the cars in the pit garage, you'll see warming blankets that the pit crews put over the tires until they're right before they're ready to go out on the track. Keep those tires hot. You'll also see the drivers swerve back and forth on their first lap when they go out of the pits to try and get those tires grippy, get them warm. Anyway, that's keep your tires warm. Next one, dirty air. You hear that a lot, and that's when the cars are right behind another car and the turbulent air coming off the back of the aerodynamics of the car in front make dirty air for the car behind. Clean air is when you're out in front of everybody and you have nobody in front of you and you have clean and free air, which is ideal. But usually only one driver gets that unless you've got a huge gap between you and the driver in front of you. Next, understeer. Understeer is when the front tires are slipping going through a corner. And then its companion term, oversteer, is when the rear tires slip going through a corner. And you'll hear the drivers talk about that all the time when they've had a little bit of understeer, a little bit of oversteer. You might even notice when they're going through the corners, if you look really closely, you can maybe see the car slip a little bit. And that's what those terms mean. Here's a fun one that I learned not too long ago. And marbles. Marbles refer to little balls of rubber that come off the tires as the tires degrade on the racetrack. And they spread out on the racetrack. And when the cars go over those marbles, that can be a little bit dangerous because the tires can lose grip from that. So that's marbles. Power unit. We hear that referred to a lot in races and in analyzing the races and strategy before the races. It's a controversial thing. I'll explain that in a minute, but the power unit is the engine, but it's not just the internal combustion engine, it's a lot of other units that go along with it. I'll spare you all the terms that go with that. Maybe that's not the best time right now, but it's very complicated, and there's turbo units and there's hybrid electrical engines and units that store power and batteries, and anyway, all of that put together is called the power unit. Anyway, that's a little bit of the lingo that is used in Formula One. And by the way, the formula in Formula One, for those who didn't know, it refers to the regulations, the regulation book that decide what the cars can be and how they can be constructed and what limits they have and what components they can have and what changes can be made. There's a huge book of regulations from the FIA, which is the governing body of Formula One. that say what your cars can be, and it's done to try and keep the cars somewhat the same for fairness. The cars are a little bit different, of course, but they are very largely and hugely much the same. And little tweaks to the engine, the power unit, components here and there can give a little bit of an advantage. And the advantages that these car constructors, car makers are trying to get out of these power units are, we're talking thousandths of a second, hundredths of a second advantage that can mean the difference between sitting on the pole and being in P10. By the way, the pole sitter is the person who has pole position, who has the number one track position, had the best qualifying time during the qualifying rounds, and is in the front of the race. And it's a very favorable place to be, as you can imagine, obviously. That's it for me. I hope you enjoyed that. If there's any lingo that you know that you'd like to share, let me know in the comments, and I might share that in a future post. So again, that's it for me. It's time to box. Keep your tires warm. And this has been the F1 Minute.